So if you say you're hungry, you're going to be hungry. If you say you're tired, you're going to be tired. If you say it's hard, it's going to be hard. You've got to control your mind to be stronger than your emotions, or you'll lose every time. But stepping into a gym which is mostly men, it's a pretty big deal for a woman, especially an older lady like me. It was quite intimidating. It doesn't matter how many medals or how many pro cards you get. My daughter ran into my arms and threw her arms around me and said, "Mum, I'm so proud of you." I'm Tracey from Worsley, just Tracey from Worsley, and I did my first bodybuilding show in July and I got my pro card.
Which is an incredible outcome, straight away, like one hit and you're in. Let me just move the microphone a bit closer. I know. But you did put the work in.
I did, and I was expecting to place. And I got third in bikini. I didn't think I was going to place in bikini because I was quite ripped and they want a softer look in bikini, and I was quite, ripped really. And I placed third, and then in fitness I placed first, and I was like, wow. And then they passed me my pro card. She was like, "Tracey's won a pro card status as well," and it was like, wow, I was speechless. I couldn't believe it.
Where did it all start, Tracey?
When I was like 40, when I got into my 40s, I'd always partied, and that was my life really, partying at weekend and getting on it and stuff. And then when I got to like 42, 43, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I want to try and get in shape, and my kids were getting older, and I wanted to be a good role model for them as well. I was an amazing mum, and I still am. And the group of friends I was hanging around with, they were like, yeah, we'll go to a fitness class and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that never happened, so I started just doing the odd fitness class, but I'd fall off after a couple of months. And when it all changed for me was like 2018. I started suffering with really, really bad anxiety through work. I was working in brain injuries, and I was on this case, and it was hard.
What's your role? What did you do for it? Sorry.
I supported a young boy with a brain injury, but he was quite disabled, and he had a care team around him. And it was hard, and I started suffering with anxiety, and I was taking work home with me, and it was hard. And I went to the GP, and they diagnosed me with anxiety. So I went on antidepressants, and I stayed on those for 2 years till 2020, not realising at the time that I'd actually started perimenopause. So I was being treated for anxiety. And then when we came into lockdown, I'd already started doing CrossFit in 2018, and I loved it, but I just didn't have the confidence to keep turning up, and I'd get anxiety going. And you've done CrossFit, haven't you? And that environment is quite... I need to really choose my words here, but it's quite competitive, and it can be quite cliquey as well.
Tribal.
Yes, very. And I really wanted to do it, do you know what I mean? But I was still having these feelings of anxiety, but I was having other symptoms as well, like my skin was a mess, and I was not sleeping, and loads of contributing factors. And I went back to the doctors in 2020, and she was like, well, we can give you some more antidepressants, or we can treat you for menopause. And I was like, well, and I'd done research as well, because I research everything, because I'm a bit of that's what I do. And she started me on patches, and within like 2 months I was just like, wow, I feel like me again.
Right.
So I started,
What were the patches? What did they do?
They're just patches what you stick on. They're estrogen patches.
Right. So the lesson there is go and get help.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily just anxiety.
No, it's not.
There's obviously something else as well.
I think this is what a lot of GPs do, because they've not got the training around menopause. And when I went on the patches, I started to see results in the gym. I wasn't as tired, I wasn't as anxious. And then this was like 2021, and then I was doing really well at CrossFit. I was competing as well, and I was loving it. but I was getting injured a lot. You know, you've done, as you know, my shoulders were like always knackered, my back was hurting, and I was quite boxy as well, and I didn't really have a lot of shape. I liked how I looked, and I liked my body, and I liked what it did up here as well, because the endorphins when you've done a CrossFit workout is just off the scale. It's just, you've got to do it to know. And I used to love that feeling of sort of being out of breath when you're doing a workout and you feel like you're going to die and you can't breathe, and I'd be like, push yourself more, and I loved that, and I do miss that as well.
Isn't it amazing what the body's capable of? Even mentally, you think, my body can't do this, and it can.
But it can, and the body will go with the mind.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, I always say, don't let your... what do I always say? I'm getting nervous now. Take control of your emotions, because if you don't, your body will just not do what you want it to do, will it? You know, you'll lose every time if you don't.
You get cortisol retention, get water retention, you'll have fat retention.
Yeah.
The mind's an incredible thing.
It's very powerful.
Yeah.
So, so in 2023, I just thought, my friend at the time, Leanne, she was going to a bodybuilding gym near me, and she wanted to introduce me to that. And she said, why don't you come and just, you know, my son had gone to the same gym as well, and he was like, Mum, you know what to do now, you know, let's, you know, come here with me. And I was always like, no, it's full of big burly men and this, that and the other. And then I started going there in 2023, and then I thought, I want to step on stage. And I'd always wanted to step on stage. It had always been my dream for years. But
so had you been in fitness before then? So it'd always been something, sport had always been something for your life.
Yeah.
Is that the case?
Yeah, I'd always sort of like done swimming. I was always walking. I would like, my kids have always been quite active. My son's done boxing and he goes to the gym and stuff. So you lead by example, don't you? Mm-hmm. But I got into bodybuilding just only last year. But I had the good foundation to build because I'd done CrossFit for so long, because I'd done CrossFit for like 6 years before that. And then I thought, I'm going to step on stage next year in July, so I did.
So goal, target.
Yeah.
How did you have to adapt your life around that then?
To be fair, because my kids are grown up, it was okay. Because if I wanted to finish work and just go home and get in bed because I was knackered, I can. I think when there's women doing it and they've got families and stuff, I'm honestly going to sit here and take my hat off to them, because I don't know how they do it, because it's hard doing it on your own. I just had to really, really manage my time. So, like my training days, when I was in prep, I did like a 16-week prep, so I had to just, if my training day landed on a Wednesday and I was on a 7-7, I had to go to the gym after work, and I would literally be there till 10:15 at night, and then home, up at 5 for work, start at 7, finish at 7, and the same the next day. Prepping your food for work, just being on it, blocking out the noise, being disciplined. Sometimes you don't always want to go. You just...
That's the hard one.
Yeah.
When everything's saying, don't go to the gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
The dopamine's already kicked in.
Yeah.
It's like, no, don't. Yeah. No, I need to go.
Yeah. And do you know what? The easy bit for me was getting in the gym and doing, you know, lifting weights, because I love lifting weights. The hard bit for me was doing the cardio, especially towards the end, because when I got to like 4 weeks out, I was fine. I knew I would be okay on prep, because I'm actually okay with being hungry. It doesn't bother me. I can block that out. And I think you become your thoughts. So if you say you're hungry, you're going to be... It's like having the devil on your shoulder, innit? And you've got to just sort of think, no, not today. So if you say you're hungry, you're going to be hungry. If you say you're tired, you're going to be tired. If you say it's hard, it's going to be hard. You've got to control your mind to be stronger than your emotions, or you'll lose every time. And
I think the thing is, I think that's right. And also when, in any walk of life really, regardless of what your goals are, say that everyone's got fitness goals, right? I'm assuming, and then you might say, okay, not everybody wants to be a bodybuilder on stage or be a fitness model on stage or whatever. But by doing these things well, you're going to feel the best you'll feel, and set yourself up for longevity.
Yes, and that's what it's about, isn't it?
And but everybody knows the answer. Everybody knows if I don't drink water or whatever, don't have electrolytes, eat pretty rubbish food all the time, don't sleep very much, the result's going to be pretty obvious.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not going to live as long. You're going to get heart disease, you're going to get diabetes. But I just think, as a nation, we're sort of, you only have to switch your TV on, don't you, and you see all the ads and the demonising eggs and meat and butter, and I've always been one of them, do what they tell you not to, because I eat all the butter, I eat all the eggs, I eat all the meat, I eat all the fish. I eat single ingredient foods, I don't eat anything out of a box. I always say if it doesn't run, fly or swim or grow out the ground, don't eat it. Don't go near it. There's nothing in a supermarket for me. I go to the butcher's every week, I buy my meat from there. I do go in the supermarket because I need to get my veg and stuff and my yoghurt. But it's just all crap. It's just one big science experiment, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The table kind of goes through.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's just one big science experiment, isn't it? I think they're all poisoning us.
Was it over 99% of the food that we eat now didn't exist 100 years ago?
Exactly.
Even couscous.
Yeah.
All
That's
that
awful
it's
stuff.
It's awful. It's not even a food.
Stuff. No,
margarine is not even a thing.
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah.
So those things cause inflammation.
Yeah, there's a lot of poison out there, and I think, like, I'm self-coached, because I know my own body, I know my own cycle, I know my hormones. Yeah, and it's about that as well. Like, when I was deep into prep, there was a couple of weeks where I didn't lose any weight, and I know it's not always about losing weight; it's how you look. And I knew it was inflammation. My joints were hurting, and yeah. And you're drinking 4 litres of water a day when you're in prep. It's a lot of water. So if your body's not getting rid of that, or your body's inflamed, where does that water go? It's going to do its job. It's going to think, right, I need to stay here to repair all this damaged tissue and all this inflammation. So it's about knowing your own body as well, and listening to that, and, yeah, doing the same thing every day. A lot of people can't do it. They all want to do it. They all want to lift heavy weights, and they all want to look amazing. But it's hard. And if it was easy, everybody would be walking around like Arnie, wouldn't they? And Dorian Yates, and they would, wouldn't they, Mark?
Yeah.
They'd all be like, yeah. And I hear so many women saying, I just want to tone up. What you toning up? Because you can't tone fat up, because you need to lose the fat and build the muscle, don't you?
Yeah.
And a lot of women are scared of picking weights up. They're terrified. I'm going to get big. I don't want to get bulky.
Well, the great thing, the great benefit for weightlifting is the bone density change.
Yes, it is.
Especially as you get older. I mean, listen, when you're in your 20s and 30s, maybe cardio is the way to go, but there's a tipping point, which is where weight is probably where you need to be. You're going to certainly burn more calories over a longer period of time.
Of course you do.
Lifting weights. And you're not going to become like Arnie, actually, unless you're eating 36 eggs a day and you're banging protein in God knows when at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's not the goal. The goal is to be fit, healthy and strong, and don't go to the doctor.
Yeah. And I think what you do now, it will set the foundations for your 60s, 70s, 80s. 100%. I think there's just no age limit on being fit and healthy, lifting weights. It's just so important for bone health, for brain health, and for your mental health as well. And I'm there for it.
Well, I think that's what I saw through the story on Instagram. Do you see what I mean? Like, people just get bamboozled.
Yeah, they do.
Where do I start? Well, I tell you what, go and get just our weight and lift that for 10 minutes. Just do that.
Yeah, just start off.
You can do that in the bedroom. Just take up the dumbbells and do that. You're not going to look like Arnie.
No, you're not.
But the stimulation and the bone structure and the cellular regeneration, just by doing that alone, would be really helpful.
Yeah, 100%. Just start, for any women out there who want to start a fitness journey, just start. Like I say, I go to a gym where there's a lot of men there who are bodybuilders who've competed, and it's like, and I'm not slagging off other gyms, but you know, you get people who go to David Lloyd, and you get Brenda and the cat, you know, with the people who, and I'm like I say, don't drag me for this, anybody, but you're not going to achieve your goals by going to David Lloyd and doing a bit of a spin class and then going having a hot chocolate and a cake after. It's not going to happen. If you want to achieve your goals, which I wanted to step on stage, so I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but if you want to train to a high level, you need to go to a place where there's big, strong people around you, and you can watch them and you can learn and you can pick the brains and you can say, am I doing this right? I'm not feeling that there, so how do you think I should do it? And that's not really working for me, so is there something else I can do? Or, you know, should I be going heavier and doing less reps? And that's how you learn. I'd never really done I'd done Olympic weightlifting because I'd done CrossFit, but stepping into a gym which is mostly men, it's a pretty big deal for a woman, especially an older lady like me. It was quite intimidating, but everybody was so nice, and you just become part of that family, and everybody's in it. And honestly, am I allowed to say where it is?
Yeah.
Future Fitness Farmworth, it's one of the best places to train. It's cheap, the people are amazing, they're so helpful, and whilst I was learning and getting to grips with all the machines, I just used to go on the treadmill or get on the Stairmaster, and I just used to watch. That's all I did. I used to watch what everybody was doing, and then I'd try it, and I'd say to somebody, am I doing this right? Or do I need to adjust it? Or, and people help you. You know, don't be scared of going in a gym and just starting, because you will reap the rewards, you know, physically and mentally as well. That feeling when you come out of there, it's just, you can't, if you could bottle that, you'd be a millionaire.
Whereabouts is that?
It's in Farnworth, near Bolton.
Right.
Yeah, and it's really cheap. It's £20 a month, and yeah, it's open till 10 o'clock at night, from like 7 a.m, 6 a.m, I think.
Thing is that any gym journey or whatever it is, even if you go for a run, nobody wants you to fail.
No, they don't.
And you have to start somewhere, and don't wait until Monday. Start Wednesday. Start the next day.
Yeah.
Don't give in to the, it's okay, I'll get through the weekend, and then, because I've done that like those times, you just end up going, oh, I haven't gone. And sometimes there is a psychological element to it, which is, if I'm going to tell everybody I'm definitely going to the gym, I've decided I'm going to go on Monday, I've told everybody already, so I've already had the endorphin, that satisfaction about, I've done that in my head, so therefore I haven't gone now. So half the time you don't go. Or sometimes when you buy a gym membership, again, you've been building up to the thought about getting a gym membership, go and get a gym membership. In my brain, the endorphins kicked off. I've then had the dopamine response. I've already done it. So then guess why I haven't been to the gym. So there's a thing about genuinely just, there's a lack of commitment there. What you're doing is you're looking for approval elsewhere, I think is a mistake I definitely make anyway.
Really?
Yeah, and you kind of go, well, I've told everybody now, I'm definitely going to go. Then I don't go.
Yeah.
The reason is because I haven't really committed. So that's why I think it's make the decision, commit to that decision, and then go do it. Then you'll have that fantastic feeling afterwards. And when you're in the gym, people honestly do not care what you look like,
they don't.
because you're there.
Yeah.
You've already made the first step.
You've showed up.
You've showed up. That's the battle.
Yeah.
If you show up, then go again.
Yeah.
That's it. And because you can lose your rhythm for various reasons.
Of course you can, and it's hard, but once you just got to get into good routines. Just got to get into such good routines, and I think that I don't drink or smoke or anything, so to me it's easy, and I'm quite set in my ways, so I do find eating the same foods all the time, even on a weekend. I don't even have takeaways or anything anymore. I used to up until probably 4 years ago, and then I was getting takeaways and thinking, do you know what, I'm not even enjoying this. I'm just wasting 30 quid. It's going in the bin.
I was the same,
Yeah.
until 4 years ago.
Was you?
I was just eating the same thing day after day, and it was all prepped. So it was all the secret for me at the time was everything was prepped, everything was done. I had like 3 or 4 days of chicken all done, rice was all done, asparagus was all done. I used to eat beef burgers and asparagus in the morning for breakfast.
Wow.
Then I'd have 2, probably like broccoli and chicken, and then the next piece might be sweet potato and some salmon. That was it, day after day after day after day for years and years and years.
What happened?
COVID.
Really?
I completely lost my mojo, and I've still lost my mojo.
I think a lot of people did, didn't
I've
they?
lost my mojo completely. I got a couple of injuries as well at the time. So I said to you, I tore my rotator cuff.
Yeah, that's bad.
And then I tore my distal bicep tendon. So
Wow.
bicep rolled up here.
Really?
Yeah. And that was just doing
Is that
some.
where it just tears off? And
Yeah, I was doing some AMRAPs. And so I had to have that.
Did that hurt?
Yeah, I mean, it hurts. Yeah, absolutely it does. But I kind of left it because I thought, well, I wasn't sure if I felt it, right? And if you feel the pop.
I've seen it on videos.
Yeah, and I felt it. And so now the head of my bicep, even though I've had it now repinned in again, the head of the bicep is a lot higher.
Really?
Here now. So I kind of had those things and hit COVID, and I genuinely lost my mojo. And I think all of the things I'm saying around that, that dopamine, if you think life is a bit too comfortable, I'm definitely a social animal. There's a lot going on where I haven't replanned fitness back into my day.
Yeah.
And I did hit it. I did have sporadic fitness goals, and I did sporadically. So therefore, I think what I really wanted to get across is I'm one of everybody else listening who goes, yeah, it's so hard trying to fit it around work, but I used to fit it around work, and I was busier then.
So what you've got to ask
just
yourself is, why are you not doing that now? Why do you think you're not?
I have this. I think genuinely, I'm simply not making the time to do it. I'm finding an excuse through work. So I'll work all the time.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are like that though, aren't they? Do you think it's a confidence thing as well?
I think so.
You lost your confidence.
I think so, yeah.
It's hard, you know.
I'm not sure why, by the way, because I'm not unconfident, but there's definitely something. Definitely something has happened. And I am not happy with my level of fitness because I've been fit all my life.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, I've lost that rhythm or mojo or something, which I need in order to try and get back to it.
Just to fit back into your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard when you see. I've not felt like that. To be fair, I did. I felt a bit like when I'd done my prep, and I was looking forward to having some time away from the gym, and I did for like, I think the first week after I'd done my show, I think I trained twice, and it was so nice to not have to go, you know, so regimentally. And when I did that prep, I messed my hormones up as well, and I'm just getting back to normal now. So yeah, I get where you're coming from, but you've just got to do it. You've just got to think, I'm going to do this now. And once you start, you'll know yourself. I don't have to sit here and tell you, because you know,
I know.
don't you?
Yeah.
You know?
And it is taking that step. There's this really weird circle thing that happens, which is I feel absolutely exhausted. So I can't possibly find the energy to go to the gym. But I'll happily go out and be a social animal.
Yeah.
And then guess what, I'm tired. Well, the reason why you're tired is because you're not going to the gym. So go to the gym and you won't feel tired.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird reverse. And it's the same when we were just talking about around diet. Everybody knows what the answer is. Some of it's inconvenient. Some of it could be even financially. I spent far less eating well than I did
Eating
buying
crap.
pies and crap.
Yeah.
It cost me far more. So go around in that circle again. Guess what? If I'm not drinking the right stuff, if I'm definitely eating the wrong thing, I'm going to feel tired.
Yeah.
So stop eating the wrong thing. And see what I mean? And it's
Yeah, so to me, you sound like you're quite in tune with your body and your mind. So, like you say, the only thing what's stopping you is you.
yeah.
But there's so many people out there who don't have that ability, what you've just explained to me. They'll say, oh, I've got a bad stomach, or my hands are aching. Or I know for a fact, if I eat cheese and chocolate, my joints are going to hurt because it kicks off inflammation in my body. Bad. So it's like I always say, if there's something wrong with you, if you're tired or you've got inflammation, if I get stressed, it goes straight to my stomach. I get a pain in my stomach, and the more stressed I get, the more in pain I get, because it's your body saying, you know, you're stressed, you need to calm down. So I always say, if there's something wrong, if it's inflammation or illness, it's something you're either putting in your body or you're not putting in your body. Listen to your body, be in tune. It's dead simple. Just eat the food, eat good food, drink the water, get enough sleep. As you get older, you might need a multivitamin. I take vitamin D, I take vitamin K, I take cod liver oil, I take a few other things. I take more when I'm in prep and when I'm trying to build. So you know, and it's the foundations for a better you. We live in a country where it's just people are so busy all the time, but again, a lot of it is the government. A lot of people are still suffering from COVID because, like you say, they've lost the confidence. They're sat on screens all day. We're becoming a nation of zombies. It's people are saying about this zombie apocalypse. It's happening now. People are just so uneducated around food and exercise and what's good for them, because they're scrolling through TikTok all day, they're scrolling through Instagram, they're not looking up from the screens, they don't know even how to communicate. I think in 30 or 40 years, we're going to have a very, very different human being. And I'm so glad that I'm not going to be here for it.
Well, we're already evolving.
It scares me to death.
Well, as I say, we're already evolving with that already. The jaws are changing, becoming a lot smaller. The cavity of the mouth is changing. Part of that is down to atmosphere. You know, when you're in damp conditions, you breathe slightly differently.
I didn't know any of this.
Go have a look. Honestly,
I know that people aren't
fascinating.
breathing properly because I've watched Wim Hof, and I've watched a few of his things on YouTube and stuff, and I've read a few articles that he's put out, and I know that we're not always sort of breathing properly. How are you supposed to breathe with your stomach and fill all the airway and stuff? Yeah.
You have to breathe through your nose, though.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, you do.
You've got to train the jaw. So you get a lazier jaw, sits back.
I've always been a bit of a mouth breather though, because I have got really bad sinuses, and I've had from being a kid.
Yeah.
But obviously, when I was a kid, it was like years ago. There was no. It's not like how it is now with mobile phones and.
Yeah. I'd encourage anybody to honestly have a look at it and try and breathe mindfully. So, if you are a mouth breather, you're going to know I am. You sort of go, oh my goodness, all I've done is
when
breathe
I
through my
sleep,
mouth.
I'd breathe through my mouth.
You need to breathe through your nose.
Wow. I'm going to practice that now, Mark.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, have a look. Have a look. Have a look.
I will.
I'll drop you a guy who advocates for nose
please
breathing.
do.
I'll drop you his details.
Yeah.
So not everybody wants to go on stage, right?
No.
So that was a big decision.
Yeah.
So you've gone from, hey, listen, you're doing great work, right? And then you've kept yourself fit, managed to navigate through COVID. You've made a decision which says, I need an extra goal. So you've decided to go on the stage. What was the motivation for that?
I just think, like my daughter's 23, and when she left college when she was 18, she sort of needed me a bit less, and I just think it was about reclaiming me back. This is sort of my time now. I've been a mum, you know. I'm single. I've been single for many years. But I've been a partner, I've been a daughter, I've done all that. And I'm still all those things, but it was about reclaiming me and doing something for me. So, you know, giving myself that time, being able to navigate my way through the prep and the training for that, and being able to be present and be mindful and to give it my best, basically. And to advocate for other women as well, that if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Mm.
Do you know what, Mark? And people might disagree with this, but bodybuilding is not that hard. Just eat the food, lift the weights, sleep, drink the water, block out the crap, block out the noise, stay in your lane. That's it. What's hard about that? So don't have the distractions of... We've all been there. I was like that when I used to drink. I'd go and do a CrossFit class on a Friday, then I'd go straight into Tesco, buy a load of crap, buy a bottle of wine, 4 cans of cider, go home, get absolutely smashed, eat a load of shit, wake up the next day, feel like shit.
Mm.
And I think it helps when you've not got them distractions.
Yeah.
When you're just present and you just... When you've got to want to work on yourself, you've got to want it as well. And do you know what? I admire people who can drink and do the fitness thing as well, and, you know, have the odd pizza and be okay about that. But I'm one or the other. I can't just... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got to be... This is what I'm doing now, and that this... like, when I started my prep, I was like... I didn't even think about anything else. I didn't even think about the next day or the next week or the 28th of July when I got on stage. I was thinking, today we're doing legs, I'm eating this, I'm going home, I'm going to sleep, tomorrow we're doing back. And it was just like that until I got on stage.
How many times a day or a week did you have to train?
When I was in prep, I trained 5 times. Well, really, it was 7 because I was doing cardio every day, but I lifted weights for 5 days a week.
Right. What was the cardio?
I used to do Stairmaster and then my steps.
Right.
But the last 3 weeks, I was doing 45 minutes Stairmaster and 20,000 steps, which takes a long time. So to do 20,000 steps, you're talking 3 hours. Of walking. So that's your 3 hours walking plus your 45-minute cardio, and then if it's leg day it can take up to an hour, so that's a lot of time out of your day.
And I think I'm glad that you said that, because that's not what you're advocating for all women.
No, I'm not.
To try and keep fit.
No,
I think that's the point, is that you're saying your goal was to get onto the stage and to bodybuild and the physique awards that you've won.
Yeah.
Oh, clear to see. And Sam, if you don't mind, we'll get Sam to put some pictures off your Instagram page. That's okay. On
that's
so
absolutely
people
fine.
can see.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think it's just about, that was your goal, but what you're saying is that is not possible for everybody.
No, it's not. No.
Yeah. But
no.
That's, if you want to get to stage and do that, then that's what you got to do. You've got to do the
to
hard
do.
lines.
Yeah, you've got to put the work in. But for anybody who wants to get into fitness, just you know, eat the food, get a decent, you know, just download an app or research stuff, get a decent macro split. So it sounds quite complicated, but it's actually not, is it? You know, get your protein in, get your carbs in, get your fats in. Don't take your fats too low if you want to lose weight, because that's when you start messing about with your hormones. And that's what happens to a lot of ladies in prep. They lose the cycle. My hair's still falling out after like 12 weeks. But that's the price you pay. But for anybody who just wants to get into fitness, just clean up your diet, cut out the processed food, eat properly, eat enough food. You know, I talk to all these ladies who are on like 1,400 calories a day, and I just think, no, please don't.
Yeah,
Don't
you
do
need
that
to eat
yourself,
you need to eat
please.
the calories, right?
Yeah, I mean, my maintenance calories are 2,200. And I've not even got back up to that yet. I've just finished my reverse. I should be going into a bulk now, but I find it really hard to push food. But eat the food. Don't be scared of eating food.
But when you're in a deficit, if I understand it right, your body will eat the muscle first, and it will go into this shock, which is it'll retain everything you don't want to retain, because the body goes into this sort of emergency situation.
Yeah.
It's asking to be nourished, because if you're starving it thinks, I am starving, and now I need to hold on to it.
And
you get a fatty liver and whatever else.
And this is what a lot of ladies don't understand. They think, I'll just do a load of cardio, I'll eat 1,400 calories a day. Yeah, it'll work for a bit, but then your body will think, whoa, I don't like this, what's happening? And then they're like, I'm not losing any weight and I'm doing an hour a day cardio, because you need to eat and lift some weights. That's what you need to do.
You get a cellular degeneration as well.
Of course you do. Absolutely, 100%, yeah. When you're lifting weights, when you go home at night, your body's still burning calories and it's building muscle. When you're lifting weights, you've got to rip the muscle and feed it. It's no good. It's like now I'm doing all this training, but I'm not even in a surplus yet. So I'm just maintaining what I've got. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But when I go into a bulk, that's when I'll start building muscle. I know I'm not eating enough now because I find it hard to push food. Like I say, my maintenance calories are 2,200. So for me to be putting weight on, I need to be upping that by a couple of 100 calories a week until I get to like 3,000 calories. Like when I went into a bulk last year, it took me like 6 months to put a stone on. It was hard. You're not going to get big ladies by lifting weights and eating food. Just don't be scared of doing it, because it's going to benefit you tenfold.
Let's go through the process of getting onto the stage then. You have to time everything in order to be able to get yourself to the show.
Yeah.
When does that start?
50 guys.
When does that start?
What was that?
So when does that start? You've got a show,
Yeah.
you know it's coming up, you've got the date.
Yeah.
You're like, right, when does the
clock?
when does it start? Yeah, when does the clock start? Yeah.
You mean from prep and stuff?
Yeah.
Right,
Let's go to the beginning.
Right. So I started my prep on the 9th of April. It was on a Tuesday. But the week before, I just sort of started taking stuff out, so bread came out and, bits. And then that is when it started. I did a 16-week prep because I knew I was stepping on stage on the 28th of July. And I basically just did a macro split. So I had so much protein. I had 135 grams of carbs a day. I had 160 grams of protein, I think, and then I started off on 50 grams of fat, and I stayed on that for about 6 weeks. And then when I got to like 6 weeks out, I started just decreasing, because obviously I'd lost weight. I'd lost like 16 pounds in the first month. But you've got to make sure that you're doing it properly, because you'll just lose all your muscle otherwise, and then it's all just been for nothing. And when I got to 4 weeks out, I started carb cycling. A lot of ladies go to no carbs. There was no way I was doing that, because no, it's not good, ladies. So I think the lowest I took my carbs was 50 grams. And that was just, carb cycling is so good. Like, you wake up one day and you're like, where did that come from? And
is it literally like that then overnight?
Seriously,
right.
Yeah. After the first week, I was like, wow, look at this. And your abs are coming through and you're like, wow, so much happens in that last 4 weeks. It's just, it's amazing. And
what, I'm assuming it's weight category?
No, it's not. It's not even about weight. I just went off how I looked. I did measurements. I did weigh myself.
Mm-hmm.
I did weigh myself because it's up here, isn't it? But when I stepped on stage, I went down to 9 stone. Bearing in mind I'm 5'7", so I'm quite tall. But the day I stepped on stage, I was 8'12". But I'd had a refeed the night before, and I'd had like 200 grams of carbs. I'd had a massive steak. I had a massive steak dinner at my friend's, Leanne, who helped me to navigate my way through my peak week. And Yeah, when I got on stage, I was 8'12", and since then I've put about £9 on.
So when you were 8, 12, when was that?
The day I stepped on stage,
What day?
28th of July.
Right.
Yeah, so
So come on, you have this sort of fence-like brown creosote everyone seems to paint on them. What's that? So tell us about this.
So you go for your tan the day before. So the day before, I had my hair done in the morning. My daughter did my makeup. So the day before, I had my hair done. I had it blown. She pinned it all. I wanted to wear it like this, naturally curly, but it was just, you can't use hair dryers backstage. You can't plug anything in or anything. So I just had it pinned. And then you go to this, it was near where the show was, and you just literally start bollock naked in a room with a load of women. Everything's out, like everything. Just, do you know what I mean? And you just stood like this, and you're lifting your boobs up, and you're bending over, and and you're getting sprayed, and
Right. That's a surreal experience in itself, isn't it?
And like you're just chatting to people. Like I was chatting to this girl called Lainey. She'd come from Wales, and we was just chatting in this in this tanning tent with like nothing on. Do you know what I mean? It was mad, yeah.
But there's a practical thing to that, though. You see, I can kind of understand it. There's everyone's in the zone.
Yeah.
And what it is just, well, we're here. It's practical.
Yeah.
We're not here to perv everyone.
Yeah, I know.
We're literally here to get sprayed.
Yeah, we're getting sprayed, and and then the next day you go and you get your top coat, and then you put your suit on about 30 minutes before you step on stage.
I think what's remarkable about your story is that you weren't coached by anybody. You were self-coached.
Yeah.
So you worked everything out yourself, and that's hard, to try and. Am I doing the right? You're talking about carb cycling.
Yeah.
There is a science to it.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. But I've just, like I say, nobody knows your body like you, and a lot of it is trial and error. And next time I'd go on stage, which is going to be April 2026, I know that I will bring a better package, because I did mistakes in my prep. Peak week was really hard because you're trying to navigate your way through it. You've got a water load, and then I wanted to carb load at the beginning of the week as opposed to the end of the week, because obviously if you have too many carbs 2 days out, you'll completely fuck your physique up, and it's too late. But if you do it at the beginning of the week and you're holding a bit of water or you're a bit fluffy, you've got time to correct it. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was hard. But, I mean, I'm not saying I'd never work with a coach, but there's a lot of coaches out there who are just, they want you to jump on gear straight away. I'm on a couple of groups on social media, and the horror stories what I hear is like, there's girls who are like 12 weeks out on 1,200 calories. It's like, you're 12 weeks out. Where are you going with this? When I was 6 weeks out, I was still eating 1,800 calories, because it has to come down. So if you're eating 1,200 calories at 12 weeks out, you need 700 calories a day just for your organs to function and to breathe, and for your body to do what it needs to do. So, yeah, that's a lot of the reason why I didn't want to work with a coach as well, because I just think there's a lot of coaches out there, they're just using cookie cutter meal plans, they're sticking everybody on gear, and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous for a woman. It's dangerous for a man. But with a woman, you've got stuff like virilization, you can lose your voice, you're growing beards, and, things grow bigger in different places, and, yeah. So I just wanted to do it on my own and see if I could navigate my way through it.
And you did, and you had discipline to do it.
Yeah, I think I did pretty well.
So, right, so here we go. You're sprayed up, you're top coated.
Yeah.
You got your outfit on.
Yeah.
You've been practicing your moves.
Yes. Yes.
So you obviously knew your routine.
Yeah, I did hire a posing coach at like 10 weeks out, but I just thought I can do this on my own. And Leanne, my friend, who's a pro with Pure Elite as well, she sort of helped me to nail my posing as well. Yeah. And I got good feedback from that as well. The guy who the judge who sent the feedback through, he said your posing looked natural and well rehearsed. I was like, okay,
Cheers.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I was there like 2 weeks out in the gym every day, like, you know, with my heels on and my shorts and my socks, and like, oh, I can't do this. I'm not natural, and it's really hard to be flowy and do all this. I found it really hard because it's not natural, because you're trying to suck your stomach in, arch your back, stick your bum out, do all and breathe as well, and it's hard, you know. It's so hard, the posing. But yeah, I think I've pulled it off.
Well, you obviously did. So you were part of a cohort of women on the stage. Nervous?
Yeah, I was so nervous. Thinking about it now, like, I can feel my voice shaking. It was like, because before you go on stage, all the athletes have to walk out, and it was like, yeah, I was like, my daughter was there, my friend Leanne. I was like, you're gonna have to put my shoes on for me and fasten them, because I was literally like this. I was shaking, and like, you stand for a photograph and you're smiling and your lips are shaking and you think that everybody in the audience can see it.
Right.
And then the first walkout I did, I was just like, oh God, what if I fall? What if my bikini snaps? What if a boob falls out? And honestly, and that all these things go through your mind, you know.
Yeah.
And but the first time I'd done it, I was fine. I couldn't wait to go back out there. And do you know what? I didn't want the day to end. It was such an amazing day. And when I got my pro card,
Let's take a step back.
sorry, go on.
You're going for your routine.
I'm rambling.
No, you're not rambling at all. It's I don't want to miss the part of the process, which was you do you have to go on again and again, and there's fewer of you on
well,
there?
I entered 4 categories. So
Right.
I entered fitness model over 45, bikini over 45. God, I can't remember the other 2. Fitness model and mums at lift.
Okay.
And I placed in bikini and I came first in fitness model over 45.
How did you feel?
Amazing. I was just like, when they called my number out for bikini, like I said, I didn't even think I'd place, because they want a softer look in bikini, and I didn't bring that soft look. You know, I had the glute tie and I was really tight, and well, you've seen my photos, haven't you? Yeah. So when they called my name, I was just like, wow, I've come third, and I was like, okay. And then when they shouted first on fitness model, I was like, I was so overwhelmed. Yeah, and then they called me forward, and then they said Tracey's earned a pro card status as well. But I knew that my friend Leanne and Laura and Nicole hadn't heard the pro card.
Right.
So she passed
They
me.
were too busy cheering.
They were screaming for me, you see. And I'm one of them people, I think happiness is nice when it's somebody else's. I love seeing other people do well and be happy. So it was, even though I was overwhelmed that I'd got my pro card, I knew that they'd not realised that I'd got it. So it felt like I wasn't really sharing it with them, if you know what I mean. So I just sort of held it next to my chest while they did the pictures. And then I went backstage. I'm going to get emotional now, I know I am. It doesn't matter how many medals or how many pro cards you get. My daughter ran into my arms and threw her arms around me and said, Mum, I'm so proud of you. And that was just the best moment of the day. For your child to actually say that to you is just, yeah, it's pretty amazing. And then my son wrote a status the next day on Facebook saying, I'm proud to be your son. And I was like, yeah, my work here is done.
That is it.
Yeah. That was like,
If that's not what it's all about, I don't know what it is.
yeah, to be that role model and for your kids to say they're proud of you was just, yeah, pretty amazing. And I can't wait to do it all again.
In 18 months' time?
Yeah. So I'm going to compete in the April and then hopefully do the Worlds in the November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it Elite Pro you're with?
Yes. Yeah, Pure Elite, yeah. Because I could have done the Worlds next week. Well, the 11th it is, but I just couldn't face another prep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I wanted my body to reset, and like I said, I'm still feeling the effects hormonally of what I've put my body through. I'm still quite emotional and anxious, and my hair's coming out, and I know that that's my hormones, and I know that in time they will be okay. So I'll have to place in the April, which I'm going to, by the way, in order to compete in the November at the Worlds. I want to be a world champion.
What a goal that is.
Yeah. Why not?
Kind of feel you're going to do it as well.
Why not? I'll be 55 then.
I think that the takeaway from this for anybody who's listening is just some of it's around commitment. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid just to get there and look after yourself.
Yeah.
Not everybody has to be a physique
No, they don't.
model in order to achieve that. But I think what you're advocating and what's local heresy about you is that you're very modest, quite candid, in the sense that it's just this.
Yeah.
But also, but you are advocating for all women who are
100%.
genuinely going through terrible physical health and not really understanding why. And the answer is there, and you're sort of leading the charge on that. From what I've seen on Instagram as well, Tracey, that's what you're advocating for.
Thank you.
It's very clear.
Thank you. And I think a lot of people get into this who've been through addiction as well. So they've found fitness because they've been in addiction, whether it's drugs or drink, and it sorts your head out, and it gives you a goal and a focus. And I want to help women as well. I'm hoping to do my PT level 3 next year. And it's what I love doing. They just say find a job you love and
smash it.
Never work a day in your life, and it's true. And I think you've got to train your mind to be stronger than your emotions, or you'll lose every time, because the mind is so powerful. Don't let it, if you're training or you are anxious about going to the gym, just think, I'm going to go, I'm going to do this for me. I'm going to do it for me. Shut them voices out, block them out, and just ignore it. Block out the noise. If that, that anxiety devil's on your shoulder one day, and just think, no, take a deep breath, get your big girl pants on and go and do it. And you'll reap the rewards.
Where can people find you?
On Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah.
What's your handle?
TC at Pure Elite Pro.
TC at Pure Elite Pro.
Yeah, I think. Is it?
No, it is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. TC at Pure Elite Pro. Yeah.
Keep on leading the charge, Tracey.
I'll try.
And it leads me to say, for leading that charge, for those women, you are a local hero.
Oh, thank you.